Okay, so let's go through it here, and you just check, right? You just make sure you have it right. In this particular case, we're told that you're purchasing a car and it's already including taxes, so we don't have to worry about it. We saved up $4,900 for a down payment, so there it is, that down payment. And I want to finance over 4 years at an interest rate of 7.25%. So here we go. So to figure out the payment, sometimes it asks you just for the loan. That's why you need to understand the formulas. This would be finding the payment. So I'm jumping straight to the payment. But the loan is always, you can see it when you do this work correctly. I will show you how I tend to do this, okay? I'm going to go get my table rate. It's 2407, right? 2407, this table rate. I didn't do this yesterday, so I will actually check. So 4 years at 7.25. 4 years at 7.25, right? So you make sure you go over and match 4 years with it, and there it is, right? I will even circle it for today, right there. That's the value you need to take with you, okay? 2407 goes right in here, and I will always provide that table so you don't have to worry about it. On a test, AC, whatever, the AC you're about to get will have that, okay? Then you have, I always do this on the side, right? 35,600 minus 4,900. This is what we call the loan, right? This is what you're financing. This is the loan. Make sure you have that, because you usually need to refer to that again. Okay. So 30,700 times 24.07 divided by 1,000. There it is. Oops, what did I do? See, don't make that mistake. And that's even worse. Let me redo it. There it is, 738.95. And you should always look at this number. Does it make sense? Is it ridiculous, right? Is the number ridiculous? Does it make sense? Right? And then the total amount paid back to the bank, that's just this one. It may or may not be asked individually, so you just need to make sure you know what you're answering. So 738.95. Art of whispering, guys, okay? 12 and 4, right? And that's 35,469 and 60 cents, right? So that's how much you paid the bank. That's how much they got back from you, right? Borrowing this much, you paid back this much. So obviously there's some interest they charged you there. So total interest paid, that's TI. I'm going to do this the long way. Your formula calls for the exact same thing as up here. But in this case, from this, you have to subtract the loan, which is way up here, 30,700. Some students pick this number here. That's incorrect. You're only borrowing this much, because some of it you're paying, right? That comes here. I will just borrow this answer from up here. So again, there's nothing wrong with you just taking this number, plugging in here. Nothing wrong with it, because it's correct. But sometimes this step is omitted, and then so you'll have to do it from scratch, right? So watch out for that. Minus 30,700. Subtracting these two gets you that answer, 4,769 and 60 cents. That's how much in interest you will have paid over the 4 years at that interest rate. It's a pretty expensive car, right? That you're buying, 30 grand, or that you're paying. You're financing 30 grand. Okay? And then it's asking total principal and interest. When it's asking both of them like that, start with this one. Okay? Lowercase I. Lowercase I is the loan, right? Times the interest rate, and I will already divide that by 100. Right? In math, Any course you're taking, when you're multiplying something, when you're finding the dollar amount, turn your percent to a decimal. All of that gets divided by 12 because we just want the first month, not the whole year. And that gives you 185.48. And the principal would be the payment, which is 738.95 minus 185.48, right? And so there it is. That would be 553.47, just like I told you here. So this is the principal for the first month. This is the interest for the first month. And that changes for the second month, and you'll see that later on in this chapter, how that changes from month to month and how we calculate that. Okay, last one. Just read carefully, right? How much did Dilraj pay for the car in total, including the down payment? Right? So total, including down, would be your down payment, of course, which is 4,900, plus the total you paid to the bank, which I'm just going to go and get. That's 35,469.60. Okay, and that gives you 40,369.60. At the end of the day, when you're all said and done, when the 4 years are over, somebody asks you how much did it cost you, you should technically say 40 grand. Right? Not some students might say, oh, I only paid 35 grand. Or some students might say, I only paid 30 grand. Not correct. You borrowed 30 grand, but you ended up paying this much because of interest. And on top of that, you did put some money down of your own, right? So it's the 40 grand that it really costs you at the end of the day. This is what I'm always cautioning students about. Don't think every single one of these questions is always going to show up in that order, in that sequence. Right? I need you to understand how the formulas work. So you need to read carefully, what is it asking? Is it perhaps only asking me for the interest? Okay, then I'm done here. Is it perhaps only asking me for the principal? Then really this is the only number that should be circled, right? It would require this work all the way to here, but right, you gotta watch out. Watch out. Okay, so I'm gonna pause here, give you the AC. How can you reduce, lower the total interest paid? Okay, some of you already know this one, right? Make, on page 31, make additional payments, right? You can set up a second payment in addition to the minimum requirement. You end up paying the loan off faster. Layman's terms, right? You can also shorten the term or the amortization. Shorten the term or the amortization of the loan, right? Paying a loan as soon as possible will end up saving you interest. So instead of like if you get a raise at work, oh, now I can buy, or I can subscribe to this, or I can now buy this. Add to your loan, pay it off faster. And then when you're loan free, now you have an extra chunk. Now you can do something else, right? But you save interest. You're literally keeping money in your pocket. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna add that too. Yeah. A larger down payment, right? This one, off. Pay the loan off faster. Yeah. Now you know why I type most of my notes, right? Okay. Make a larger down payment. Do you notice that every single one of these allows you to pay it off faster, right? Every single one of these, technically, if you zoom in to the main reason, is you're paying it off faster, right? You end up paying interest on the remaining amount. Just buy it cash. That's even better. Don't even finance, right? But if we're talking about getting into a loan, then these are the ones, right? And you know what? I would accept shop for a lower interest rate. If you go to a dealer, they often deal with many banks, and they'll look at, hey, these are my options. This is, Cambrian Credit Union, TD, right, Royal Bank, and you can pick the lower interest rate. That would probably also be acceptable. Okay, so this is total interest paid, okay? Can we highlight that? This is if you wanted to lower, right, reduce the total interest paid. Lower the TI. What do we call total interest as well? What's the other name for it? It's two words. Finance charge, that's right. Cost of borrowing. All right. So now I'm going to use a different color. How can you reduce or lower your monthly payment? How can you do, if you want a lower monthly payment, this has nothing to do with interest, just less payment, right? That you're just looking at your budget, you're like, I can't make $500 a month. I can do 400, but I can't do 500. How would you do that? There's some overlap here. And I will use the last item here, right? Make a larger down payment. Right? Page 31. You borrow less. Did I talk about the therefore symbol in math or no? The three dots. Therefore, your payments, your payment amount will decrease. And a good study sheet, you get creative, right? Yeah. Right, a longer term. Exactly, right? Increase the term of the loan. The loan. Yikes. It says the loan, okay? The loan. In other words, take longer to pay it off. What will suffer if you do this? If you take longer to pay off, you will pay more interest, right? But right now we're just zooming in as like, I want to make a smaller payment. So that's what it takes. Let's do this one. And negotiate a lower interest rate. Shop around, right? Find a broker. There are banks and then there are brokers, right? Brokers are financial services, right? They look at all the different interest rates out there, right? And they sometimes find you a better deal. Maybe you want to go with that. Okay. I wanted to actually start talking about leasing, but it's going to bite me later if I just try to rush into it. So I will do something else instead. So we're going to jump a little bit. You ready? We're going to talk fuel economy. Okay. Fuel economy is a lot quicker to explain. So come with me. I'm going to stop the video here.